Welcome to the Trust Factor Radio, bringing you interviews and insights to unlock the power of the subconscious mind to create authority, credibility, and trust. With your host, the Authority Architect, and best-selling author, Neil Howe.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is your host, Neil Howe, and today my special guest is Olin Downs. And Olin is the owner of Social Shark Media, and he is an SEM and SEO expert. He's going to share with us a lot of information on what is working now in SEO and give us some tips and tricks to make sure that we are doing things right for our businesses and our website. So, Olin Downs, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on here, Neil. Really appreciate it.
Yep. Give us a little bit of your background and how you got started in digital marketing, and tell us a little bit about Social Shark Media.
Sure. As Neil said, I'm Olin Downs, the owner of Social Shark Media. I have an MBA from Georgia Southern University with an emphasis in information systems. Kind of got started out working with some agencies, eventually got recruited to do some PPC and SEO work for a Fortune 500 company. While working for them, I actually started building some business on the side, and finally decided to kind of take the leap and start my own company. It was a little exciting, a little scary. You lose the no more benefits or guarantee of a paycheck, but I was really excited to do it, and pretty happy with where we're at now. Social Shark Media, our emphasis is, or niche is, large B2B companies, but we also help out small to medium-sized businesses as well, and we help them out with their search engine optimization as well as pay-per-click. So that's a little bit about me and Social Shark Media. Great.
Tell me about the whole Social Shark, when dealing, if your clientele is really these big Fortune 500 companies or, big companies, how much does social come into play in that name?
We don't do a lot of social media, if that's what you're asking. We do it, but our big thing is SEO and pay-per-click. We do like to be social with the companies, though. A lot of our work is very integrated with their team. So we're very involved with their marketing teams and development teams, and we're basically working with them on a day-to-day basis. So in that respect, the social part is very social.
Very good. Talk to me about some of the problems that these big companies have then when it comes to SEO.
They basically fall under two different categories. One is they either have no SEO experience or nothing involved with SEO, or they've had SEO in the past, and it's either been like scam, or they just haven't got the results that they've wanted. In the first instance, where they have no SEO, it's kind of fun because it's a blank slate. You get to start from the basics and work your way up, and everything you do, you can kind of pat yourself on the back with. And then the other ones who have had previous work, those are the ones that are a little tricky, because you got to really dive in to see what exactly has happened, what the other company or person has done, and either leave it, it's good, or fix it. You have a lot of issues with spammy backlinks. So people promising so many links per week or month, and those links end up being bad links. So you have to go back in there and either manually remove those links or ask for Google to remove those links. And, it can get really tricky trying to find all the what you would call black hat or bad SEO, because a lot of it is hidden within the code. But those are the two big points. There's either it's a blank slate or there's a lot of research to do.
Well, talk to me about the big companies. If they are a big company, how did they get big without really having these kinds of systems in place?
Yeah, it's interesting. Some of these B2B companies have, built themselves up through other means. They've they were big before internet, basically. So they have the clientele and everything, and they've done pretty well. But now the age of the internet is here. They just got to dive a little bit more deeper in, and they've have had some success with showing up in the internet results and everything or search engine results because of their name. But now it's to really compete, you have to kind of go in and make sure that everything is up to par. So you have to make sure that everything from an SEO perspective is on point, so that all your title tags, meta descriptions, you go in and you do the schema markup, and make sure that you are still staying competitive from a internet standpoint.
Right. So they might have come in with a bit of brand recognition, maybe been around for, a couple of decades or more. And but they don't really have, that authority in Google's eyes. They might, have a brand recognized name, but Google doesn't recognize them as that authority unless they're doing the correct things. Do you see that happening with, a lot of big companies, or maybe even some local companies that haven't really jumped on the internet bandwagon yet?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting. When I first started out, I thought it was kind of weird that bigger companies wouldn't have SEO in their marketing realm. But when you actually dive into some of these websites, you'll see some of them are missing some of the basics of SEO, and it's kind of they've gotten to where they are, even though it's not there. But what's really exciting is once that's in place, they have that brand recognition, and once you do some stuff for them, it really starts paying off, and you really see some really great results with search engine traffic, organic traffic to the site, organic conversions and sales, and it's pretty awesome.
So give me an example of what one of the companies that you work with might look like. Is it a big company that has lots of local locations around the country? Let us know what that kind of client is and what they need.
Yeah, one client has over 300 locations across the U.S. So we have to go in and make sure that the local SEO is in place, that they've claimed and verified all the Google My Business locations. It's really kind of crazy if you actually research some of the businesses out there and see how few of them have actually claimed and verified their Google My Business locations. It's something that's fairly easy to do, especially if once you claim and verify it, you can optimize it, and it really helps with your local SEO. So that's kind of one point to focus on with them, but also just making sure that local SEO is also involved on their websites, because the website will be one main point of contact, whereas they have multiple locations throughout the US. And you just want to make sure they are able to show up on a local basis.
So how do you do that from the Google My Business standpoint? If you have 300 locations across the country, how do you show up individually on the Google My Business map?
Yeah, you're able to go in and claim and verify every location throughout the US. So if it's not listed, you request that it gets listed, and then you work with basically all the branches to make sure that they get the little either index card or phone call, that they answer the phone. Sometimes it's a little tricky because some of the branch locations have call centers. So sometimes they'll miss the call and think it's like a spammy call or something like that. but you kind of give them heads up that they're going to be getting a call and that you need a verification code in order to verify that location. Once all the locations are verified, it's pretty easy. Google and Bing allow you to kind of download the information into a spreadsheet, and you can kind of alter or change the information within the spreadsheet and re-upload it. That allows you to kind of optimize all the listings easier, as opposed to going into each one individually.
Mm-hmm. And what is included in optimizing a listing? What are the important things in that Google My Business listing that you need to make sure are there?
I mean, you want to make sure to have the basic details in there: your address, your phone number, your URL. But it also allows you to upload photos of your listing or of your branch. So you want to make sure to you want to make sure yourself, as the owner of the branch, to put some nice photos in there for the customers to look at and everything, and not rely on customers who come in there to take pictures and everything. Because if you're controlling it, then you can take professional photos and make it look very nice. You can also, there's also lots of information that Google requests from you. Everything from, is your location handicap friendly? Does your location take cash or credit? There's a whole list of extra details and everything that Google requests and asks you to fill in. And if you make sure to go in there and fill that in, it helps enhance your listing as well.
Now, does each location need its own URL on the main company website that has their name, address, and phone number, or the map on it as well? Or is there a way around that will still make it rank?
You don't necessarily need the exact name of the listing and everything in the URL. I've seen good results with using the URL as the homepage. Also seeing really good results as using a URL on the website that has the company's address and everything inside the URL. So actually having a separate landing page that shows the actual location of the branch, as well as more detail about the branch. But sometimes you do get the duplicate listings in the search results if you have a find a branch page on your website, as well as a single listing of the actual branch. So you have like a branch details page, as well as a find a branch page or find a branch feature. And that way you can sometimes get duplicate listings in the search engine results, and it kind of helps boost search engine traffic that way.
So how much of the ranking on the map, because that's extremely important for local businesses, or the businesses that have a local location like that, how much is the actual power of the website and what is on the web page compared to the things that you include in your Google My Business listing?
I think that the actual website is a little bit more valuable, the actual web page, because you can include more in that than you can in the actual listing, or at least what shows up in the listing. And a lot of times your actual, or at least some of the experience I've had is the actual URL will show up before the Google listing. A lot of those cases where the listing wasn't claimed or verified yet. So that's why I would say that the actual web page is a little more valuable. Also because you're getting them straight to your website, as opposed to going through a listing like that.
Okay, so moving away from the local side of things right now, talk to me about just the basic technical stuff that needs done on these big websites.
Yeah, from a technical standpoint, you have thousands of products on these websites, so you need to make sure to go in and use Schema markup to mark up the products. The Schema markup will basically tell you exactly will tell the search engine exactly what's on the page. So instead of the search engine trying to guess that this is the product page, you specifically tell them that the product page, this is where the product name is, this is where the price is, this is the images, or these are the images. And that really helps with providing that information to the search engines and eventually getting to show up in those search engine results.
And what kind of difference does implementing all this make to the business?
It makes a huge difference. We've seen some clients have over 70% increase in search engine traffic after implementing, the technical SEO as well as the local SEO. So it made a huge impact on from a search engine standpoint.
And how long does it usually take? I know, everything's different, but when you're working on a big site that might have thousands of pages and thousands of products, how long does it take to get that whole thing done?
Yeah, I mean, it takes a while to get everything done, because you have to work with the development team, especially on some of these bigger companies. They work in sprints, so it does take a little bit long to get everything out there. It's not like a small little WordPress site that you can go in and manually update everything, or like a small business with like a few products. These larger companies, they work in multiple environments, multiple development environments, and each one has to get approved, and everything has to get check marks, and before you can move on to the next development environment, and before you can finally go live. So there's a lot of back-end work that goes on, a lot of planning, and a lot of quality control testing before any of this actually gets implemented. But once it does get implemented, it's a huge value for the company, and they've seen some really great results from that. It's not like it's sort of like running a marathon, or I would say even like an ultra marathon, that the course is constantly changing. And by that I mean Google is constantly changing its algorithms and everything, so you have to make sure to keep track of that as well. But also, even though you go live with something, it's still going to take a while for the search engine to pick that up, even though there are methods that you can do to try to help the search engine to pick up that you've released something new. But it does take a little while before Google and Bing and the search engines start noticing that you've enhanced your website.
Good stuff. All right, Olin, let's talk a little bit about pay-per-click, because you do pay-per-click for your company as well, or for your clients as well. What kind of clients need pay-per-click as well as SEO?
Can I say everyone?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, pay-per-click works really well. Search engine optimization works well. For my clients, I actually recommend doing the search engine optimization first. The main reason for that, from our perspective, is you can use PPC and you can get those quick results in the first few months and stuff, and show up first. But then if your pages aren't optimized, if you're not optimized for conversion, say, and you start getting all these clicks, then all of a sudden, you start paying more and more for those clicks, because people are just bouncing off your website. It's not a good user experience. So that's why we always recommend to kind of optimize your website first. Get the URLs nice and clean, have great content, fresh content for people to look at, and engaging content to keep them there. Otherwise, all the money you're going to be using for PPC, you're just going to burn through it, and it's not going to be very beneficial. You may get, like I said, initially you'll get a lot of traffic, but eventually it'll be very costly if you don't do the SEO in the beginning.
So what kind of things do you need on the page in order to, you'd mentioned quality content, but in order to keep people on the page and get them to take action, whether that's, submit a form or buy something? Yeah,
a great picture helps. As I said, great content about whatever it is they're searching for definitely helps, but also a call to action. You definitely want a good call to action on the page. that references whatever your ad was about. And that's another thing, is you want to make sure that whatever page you send to is very relative and relates to the ad copy. You don't want to be telling someone to call me through an ad, and then they click the ad and go to your website, and then there's no phone number. Something like that is very simple. I know there's click to call ads now as well that you can use to prevent something like that. But if you're wanting someone to buy something and you send them to your website, you want to make sure that they actually go to that product as well. So many times I've clicked on ads and for a product, and it's actually taken me to a totally different section of the website, and I've had to browse through the website to find the product. So just making sure that whatever is on that landing page that they go to is relevant to the ad copy, and that as I said, you have a clear call to action on that website or that web page.
And how big is mobile now being, the feature of everything going forward?
I mean, mobile is huge. Google just released the speed algorithms for mobile, so I think it's going to be a huge player going forward. It has been a huge player. I think something like over 50% of searches are done on mobile now. So, if your site is not mobile optimized, you could be missing out on a huge audience, because people don't want to go to a website that's not optimized for mobile. It's a bad user experience. So you want to make sure that everything is optimized for mobile, whether you have an app or making sure that your site is responsive and that it can be seen on a mobile device as well as on a desktop. I think it's going to be huge going forward as well, because more and more people are I use my phone all the time, so many people are doing the same thing, where everything is basically done from their phone, and they don't really need their desktops anymore to make a purchase.
That's right. They're getting more and more obsolete, and as the phones are getting faster and faster, and you can do more on them than we used to 5-10 years ago. The desktop and laptop might be a thing of the past soon, which is kind of scary. But really, what are some of the misconceptions about SEO and digital marketing that you hear from the companies that you work with?
Some misconceptions that I've heard in the past. I've had people come to me and they want to show up for a specific keyword or keywords, and a lot of times after talking to them about the keywords, it ends up that those keywords are just keywords that either that specific person or someone else has recommended them use without any research. So what we like to do is just kind of walk them through a few of the keywords and use some of the tools out there. Google AdWords tool, and there's a few others out there that you can use to kind of see what kind of traffic certain keywords are getting. And a lot of times those keywords that they bring to us are getting very little, if not any, traffic. So what we do is we try to educate them on, I know these keywords may seem great, but we want to make sure that you're showing up for relevant keywords and keywords that'll get you traffic. Someone could promise you to show up on page 1 for these keywords because there's no competition for them. But if you really want to get the traffic and stuff, you need to go after some of those keywords where more traffic and a little more competition. So that's one misconception is with the keywords. Just making sure that those are quality keywords that you really want to show up for. Another one is a lot of people want to rank within 1 to 2 weeks, and while that's awesome and that would be amazing, it's really, really hard to rank within that short amount of time frame and do it legitimately. There's probably companies out there that say they can promise you those rankings in 1 to 2 weeks, but then you're looking at some really long tail keyword or they're on some pretty black hat stuff in order to get you to rank that quickly, and ultimately in the end you'll end up paying for that. So when they say they want to show up in 1 to 2 weeks, we give them a little bit more reason why that's not really a reasonable expectation.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, well, we live in that microwave society. We want everything done quickly, and sometimes that's not the best way to do things. But certainly pay-per-click can get you those instant results that you're looking for. Olin, tell me a reason that you've heard that people decide not to implement SEO. I know it's a kind of a longer play to get results, but what holds people back from taking action?
I think some people they kind of see it as like voodoo, black magic. They don't believe it's real. For those people, you just have to kind of, if they're willing, you put them down and show them an unoptimized website versus an optimized website, and just kind of go through a full audit with them and show them all the different things that you actually do from an SEO standpoint. Because it's not just the keywords. There's a lot more involved with it than that. And if you take them through a full audit and show them, a lot of times, they'll kind of come around and be like, oh, well, I guess SEO actually is pretty legitimate. So I think that's one of the big things is just making sure to educate them on what exactly SEO is, and so they come around and don't think that it's
SEO
magic.
Yeah, SEO time and again is shown to give a great return on investment, but it is a longer play. You just need to stick with it until it really starts working for you. Well, Owen, give us an example of a company or two that you have worked with. What kind of problems were they having before they came to you? What were you able to do for them to help them out? And ultimately, what did it mean to the company?
Sure. So we had one company come to us. They needed some SEO work done for them. So what we did first is we did a full SEO audit of their website. They were working with a previous company that claimed that they were doing SEO work for them, but after diving deeper into the actual website, we found that they had incomplete title tags. A lot of the pages didn't even have title tags. They had meta descriptions that were duplicates across the whole website. Very thin content on the website, and even URLs were not structured correctly, even though they said that they were supposed to be structured correctly. So in that case, it kind of is a blank slate. The company wasn't really, as I said, the previous company, SEO company, wasn't really doing anything for them. They were just kind of tacking it on as an extra charge. So in that case, we actually started as a kind of like a blank slate, and kind of just did everything. We started from the title tags and the meta descriptions and the URLs. We moved on to some more technical SEO, and did some coding on the back end to help with the products to show up in the Google results. They didn't even have a robots.txt file or an index file, so we had to create some of those for them as well. And it was, like I said, it was a blank slate, so we got to start from the very beginning. And I think that's the case for a lot of companies out there. Is they have these companies that say they're doing SEO for them, and a lot of this, you don't know what you don't know. It's kind of sad to see these people taken advantage of like that, because they've spent so much money on trying to get their page optimized, and they're told that it's optimized, and now once you actually dive into it, you see there's nothing been done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is definitely a shame to see. There's countless offers in the email of companies offering to do SEO for you for, a couple of $100 a month. Unfortunately, it's generally not what you need. You get what you pay for, and it's a lot nicer and more comforting to be able to talk to the person that is doing your SEO one-on-one and face-to-face if you need to. So you are in the Jacksonville area, is that right?
That's correct, Neil.
What is a good way for people to find you there and reach out to you if they want you to look at their website and see what's going on? How do they get in contact with you?
Sure. They can go through our website at socialsharkmedia.com, or they can give us a call at 858-433-8005. Either way, they can get in contact with us and let us know what their problems are from a search engine optimization standpoint or a pay-per-click standpoint. And, we can kind of work from there. We don't really have like a prepackaged thing. Like I said, a lot of our stuff is custom. So a lot of our work is custom. So we'll do a full audit of your website and see what's been done, what hasn't been done, and we'll kind of work from there. Based on the size of your website as well as how much work needs to be done, we can work with you from there. But we don't want to just give out like a random price and say, we're going to do this, this, and this for you, but then A, B, and C is already done. So we do want to make sure that the work we're doing is work that's going to be beneficial for you and that's actually going to enhance your online presence more than what you already are.
Excellent. Well, Olin Downs, he is the owner of Social Shark Media from Jacksonville in Florida. Thank you very much for being my guest on the Trust Factor Radio today.
Having me, Neil.
And to our listening audience, if you like what you hear, hit that like button and share, and we'll see you next time on the show.
You've been listening to the Trust Factor Radio with Neil Howe. To learn about the resources mentioned in the show and to listen to past episodes, go to thetrustfactorradio.com. To get a copy of the book, The Trust Factor, go to thetrustfactorbook.com. If you are ready to act now and build your authority, credibility, and trust, schedule a consultation with Neil at theauthorityarchitect.com.